so I will be explaining my process of how I became an extra on a movie recently. There's Thunder, but yeah, I'll be explaining of the whole process of it, and this will be part 1 and part 2. I may film a part 2, maybe, I'm not sure yet. It just depends. So pretty much I will be explaining that and also giving you advice of what you should do if you want to become prominent in the acting field and becoming an extra, because it's really fun and I highly recommend it. So pretty much how I heard about this opportunity was from a local news place, and basically what they did was they posted something about it on Facebook. I highly recommend you, if you're interested in this whole field, to follow your local news's Facebook page, maybe Instagram, I don't really know. And because they post a lot of things that are happening in your community and in your area, so make sure you follow them and stay up to date on what they're posting, because that's how you're going to hear about it. So pretty much when I got to the application process, it was There's Thunder. The application had a bunch of different questions about like your physical appearance, because whenever you're working on a project like this, they're specifically looking for certain people that fit the role. So they might be looking for someone with black hair, they might be looking for someone with brown hair, it just depends. And so they'll ask like, what color hair do you have, what race are you, what color eyes do you have, how tall are you, how much do you weigh, like what's your dress size or what's your shoe size, all of those like small like details, like your waist, all of that stuff, because they're always looking for someone like specific to the role. So if you don't get a specific role, it might just be like they might be looking for someone with brown hair and you have black hair, stuff like that. So they'll ask you a bunch of those questions, and then the second part was basically, I would say, more of like a resume, I guess. If you've ever done anything with music, or if you've done anything with cooking, or if you've done anything with, I don't know, art, like just like a resume kind of thing, except you just mark off like what you've done. And so you fill that out, and then you actually upload pictures of yourself. So I had to upload a picture from like my shoulders to like the top of my head, like they just wanted to see your face pretty much, and then a full body, and I think that's it for the first part. So but they wanted you to be wearing like clothes that show off your body type, if that makes sense. So yeah, I had to upload those, send those in, and then that was the end of that application process. So I'd say about a week later, I got an email back about the second step of the application process. There were multiple stages of it, and so definitely takes time for them to go through all the applications and verify that you are what they want. So when you're doing applications like these, don't get discouraged if you don't hear back right away, because it does take a little bit. So it took about a week, maybe 2 weeks, not really sure. Got an email back, and they needed more information about me and more pictures. So it basically said, hey, can you send in pictures of yourself dressed in the role, pretty much. My role was set in the 1940s, and so basically what I had to do was literally buy clothes, because obviously I don't own clothes from like the 1940s, but I had to buy some clothes. I went to Goodwill and bought some clothes that looked like they were from the 1940s, or maybe they were, I don't really know. And so I had to go in front of, again, a blank wall and take pictures of myself in those outfits. And these ones were full body ones again, and I had 2 outfits, I think. So yeah, I had to take pictures of those, submit those, and then that was the end of that process for that specific segment of the application. That was the end of the whole application process, actually. So pretty much I got all the information about how COVID testings were going to work, and where the estimated filming date and the estimating filming locations and all of that stuff. Also, advice for this is definitely be ready for like this filming dates and COVID testings and the locations to change, because they're always subject to change, because they might tell you you're filming on Friday, but you might end up filming on Tuesday instead. So be prepared for the dates to change. Also be prepared for them to call you and be like, hey, like, we need you on set now instead of tomorrow, or we need you on set at 4 instead of at 6. So definitely be aware of that, and make sure that your schedule's open. So for the whole COVID testing aspect, they actually give you a lot of dates and estimated filming dates, estimated COVID testing dates, and all of that stuff of things. Just be subject to, I think I already said this, but just be subject to the schedule changing and all of that stuff. So originally we were testing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but once you get closer to your fittings and your filming date, they up the amount of COVID tests just to keep everyone safe. Pretty much what COVID testing was like is, it was basically the same thing as like normal COVID testing, except you basically drive, park your car, walk up to these tents, and you literally, they literally ask for like your ID, like your information and all that stuff, mark you off, and then you get COVID tested right away, and literally you get your results back that day later. Like, it's very much so a fast process, and you can assume if you don't hear back right away, you're negative. So yeah, did a bunch of those, and mine were actually in the morning at like 7. A lot of mine were at 7:45 a.m. and I was still in high school at this time. So what I did was I got tested, and then went back to school, which was fine for me because my classes were pretty fine, and it wasn't like I was missing a class that I was doing well in, so it was pretty good. So just be willing to adjust your schedule if you can, and if you're in high school or whatever, make sure that you are willing to miss a little bit of that and keep your grades up, and just continue. So I COVID tested Tuesdays and Thursdays for about a month, I think, and then eventually when the fitting was coming up, they wanted you to test a lot more than you did originally, so they would want you to test the day before you fit and all of that stuff. And then the fitting, I'm gonna go into the fittings details. So pretty much for the fitting, they'll give you options of like when to arrive, like what your specific fitting time is. Basically what I did was walked in, filled out more paperwork. This is also another very important topic. Make sure you're putting accurate information into your application at the beginning, because that information is specifically what they use at your fitting. They have clothes designed for like your size and all that stuff, so if you put wrong information in the beginning, it's going to be difficult when you try on clothes at your fitting, because just make sure your size is right. So basically it was a really fast process. They literally grabbed the clothes that would fit me, and then I tried them on, and they were actually really nice about it, and they were like, how do you feel on it? Do you like this? Do you not like this? You can tell them if you feel like it or if you don't like it. It's a two-part effort. So you try those on, and then they actually take pictures of you in those outfits to send to other people to make sure that that's what they want. So I was given 2 outfits, a dress and a skirt outfit, and yeah, you try those on, take pictures in them, make sure you feel comfy in those, and they can give you jewelry, they can give you little props and all of this stuff, gloves, whatever. The fitting went pretty well, again, because I put accurate information at the beginning of the application process, so make sure you're doing that, and yeah, make sure you're doing that so they have the right sizes for you, the right shoe size, make sure you're comfortable. So the fitting was the last big major thing that we had to do before we actually filmed, and I'll go more into detail in part 2 maybe if I decide to do one, of what being on set is actually like and all of that stuff, and the filming experience and all of that. But I basically wanted to give advice of how to get started and what it's like in the beginning process of what it's like doing this. So the main points of this is to definitely follow your local news areas, and make sure you fill out your application properly in the beginning with accurate information, and to be willing for an adjustable schedule, because yeah, you definitely have to be flexible with this whole thing. It's a lot more work than you think. You might think, oh, acting's really nothing, but it's a lot more work, and you have to give up a lot of your personal time to do it. But it works out in the end, because you get more things to put on your resume, and you get to meet some fun people, and it's a really fun experience. I highly recommend it. Being on set, it's really fun. fittings was really fun. Like, everything was just a great experience. So yeah, that's it for what I'm going to say on this part 1. So yeah, definitely try more things and try it. It's really fun. I highly recommend it. Even if you're specifically not into acting, like personally, I've never done any type of acting in my entire life except for this. Never done theater arts in school, anything like that. Never. Yeah, I really haven't done anything like this before. So the people there are super nice, and it's just really fun to work with them, and you're all working on this one project, which is really fun. So yeah, definitely try new things and try it out. It's really fun. So yeah, that's basically it of what I'm going to talk about for this part. Part 2, might do part 2, I'm not sure yet, of more what it's like on set and all of that fun stuff. Yeah, if things don't work out, you can just put this on your resume, you know? Anyways, that's it for part 1. Might do a part 2, not sure yet, but yeah.